Good evening and welcome to Phonic Fury Club 5963. This is the last day of April. Well, it's not the last day of April, but it's our last meeting in April, put it that way. Welcome to Annie.
I'm glad to be back.
Yes, I'm glad you're back too, definitely. And I know that Taryn and Bob will be back next week. They were on business pleasure trip the last 2 weeks. So we've got an exciting meeting planned. And to lead us in that meeting is our Speechcraft coordinator. He's also our Division C director. He's really rose through the ranks in leadership. He's improved his speaking 100%. Let's give a big welcome to Bon Wei.
Thank you so much, Madam President, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to Phonic Fury Wednesday meeting, and welcome Annie. So good to see you back. As Madam President, Jackie just said we are starting a training session from this week over next 8 weeks. So we will see a lot of excitement and a lot of learning opportunities and a lot of speeches for sure. Oh, we have guests come over. Hey, Kevin, welcome. Take a seat. And I will introduce what we will be doing through the training session. As I said in the email, very briefly, this is a combination. So it doesn't affect too much about what we have been doing in our regular meetings, but we will add a lot of spices, a lot of new moments over the next 8 weeks. So really appreciate even the online participants, our fellow members who are online, appreciate your cooperation, appreciate your contribution through whatever being a Speechcrafter guide or being a presenter over the next weeks through different training sessions. We have all different purpose over each individual training session, and we will come to that very soon. This is still a regular meeting, so I will introduce the meeting roles. And we have a new guest, and Kevin will get to you very soon. You might be joining our table topic session if you like. We have that session coming very soon. So I will be calling upon our meeting roles and appreciate their help and their contribution through helping our speakers in the meeting. Our first meeting role, timer. We have Daryl. So please. I guess our timer is still busy.
Actually, I was just presenting the information to our international guest who wants to be participating.
Okay.
And she missed the link that I had earlier sent. So I just sent her the link again, and she'll be joining us momentarily. As a timer, I will be timing all the presentations tonight. For the impromptu speaking portion, table topics, it'll be 1 to 2 minutes. You'll get the green card or the green light, depends on where you're at 1 minute, the yellow at 1.5 minutes, and the red at 2 minutes, and you have 30-second grace period. For the speeches, I will give you the green when you have reached the minimum amount of time, the yellow when you'll be halfway between the minimum and maximum, and red when you have reached the maximum amount of time. And for the evaluations, for speech evaluations, it is 2 to 3 minutes. And for the general evaluator, it's 3 to 5 minutes. You have a 30-second grace period after the red card, and you have a 30-second grace period before the minimum for the speeches and the evaluations. There is no minimum for the table topics, so you must speak for a minimum of 1 minute for the table topics to be within time. Thank you very much. And I'll see if I.
Thank you, Mr. Partner. Our next role, Akanda, will be helping us through some ways, which she will be introducing what she will be doing to help us. And we are so excited to get our guests to serve at this role at last minute. So please help me welcome Akanda Annie.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.
Will you come here
Oh.
to have a better voice effect? So we have speaker right here. Superstar.
Okay, do I just look into the
Yeah,
camera? or what?
better go that way.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Annie Satensky. And I have done this position before in my other club, so it's not totally new to me. Do we have a word of the day? Am I supposed to also keep track of that? Oh, the grammarian. Okay, so, I'm sorry. Oh.
Okay, you see your face on.
I gotta train myself. I'm old school. I'm used to no camera. So am I good? Can they see my face? And I don't turn around like I did last
The
time.
computer, you will see your face, computer.
Oh, okay.
See? Yes.
I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me too self-conscious. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Annie Satensky, and I'm happy to fill in the position for counter. I'm going to watch your ahs and your ums and your ers and your pregnant pauses. And I'm not too hard on people because I do it myself. But if we want to be a great speaker, then we need to be aware of those ahs, ums, and ers. And so, yeah, I've got your names on the paper and I keep track of everybody, right? From the table topics master to the Toastmaster to the guests, everybody. And so just, you know, instead of saying or I've been trained in the past just to pause, just to not pause too long, but just to kind of be quiet. Because the more you do the ums and the ers, then it's more obvious. So if you feel like you need a second to collect your thoughts, just kind of wait a minute or a second. And then, you know, move forward. So, but again, you know, just speak naturally and use good vocabulary and do your best.
Thank you, Annie. Very good introduction and with some heads up that'll be very helpful. Appreciate that. And we have next one, grammarian, also help us to do something throughout the meeting. We also have a last minute fill up role, which is by our grandma Marianne. Please help me welcome grammarian Marianne.
The word tonight is communication. It means the exchange of ideas, messages, or information. Do I put it this way or do I put it towards the this way? Okey-dokey. Communication is effective in everyday usage with family, work, and play. My duty as the grammarian is to help each and every one of you to expand his and her vocabulary and to improve your word usage. And at the end of the meeting, I will give you my report on who used the word of the evening. Make sure you try to use it in table topics, or even when you're up here speaking. And I will let you know at the end of the meeting who did the word and how properly you use the English language. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for providing this very right spot on word of the day. Public speaking, in the end of the day, is all about communication. So hopefully we all found a way to improve our communication skills by attending this club meeting or the Speechcraft, which is coming underway. Okay, next row. So it got me. I was not following that conversation before the meeting started. I was hearing somebody will be the joke master. So maybe somebody enlighten me who is the joke master, which I just got it. Our always spot on joker master, Daryl. Please welcome.
Well, I don't know how well you're going to appreciate this one, but there were two engineers that were applying for a job. They had the exact same qualifications. And the manager said, gee, you're exactly the same. How do I choose? I know, we're going to give you a test. So they both of them took the test. Both of them got 9 of the 10 questions correctly. And the manager came up to the one And he said, you got 9 of the 10 questions correctly. However, you missed one, and we're going to give the job to the other person. Well, wait a minute. How did he do? Well, he also missed 9 out of the 10. He made 9 out of the 10. Well, wait a minute. Why is it that he gets a job and I don't get the job? We both missed just one question. And he said, well, it isn't on the number of questions that you missed. It was on how you answered the questions. And the guy said, well, wait a minute. Please explain it. How did he answer the question better than I did? Well, you both missed question number 8. He responded, I don't know the answer. And you responded, I don't either.
It seems a lot of communications there, right? Which turns out to be funny. Thank you, Master Daryl. Okay, we have the vote counter. Maybe I just introduce that right away. You see, we have a online Zoom screen called the Daryl Zeller. Actually, that is not functional as a participant, that functional as a vote counter. So Daryl will be taking care of the vote collecting. Whichever session where we need to vote for the winners, please send your vote to Daryl Zeller, the participants, the screen on the virtual side, and then in the conference room right here in person side, we will be collecting as we did before in the conventional way. So that is how we collect the vote. And I will move on to our other sessions. Here comes the exciting part. So from now on, I will be leading this meeting tonight a little differently, because since today, our club will be holding a 8 weeks training program called Speechcraft. It is Toastmasters International certified training program. This is a program which is where our existing members will be working along with new members or visitors or prospective speechcrafters over the next 8 weeks. And we work together, we practice together, and we grow together to improve the public speaking skills. Our club has prepared 8 courses ranging from impromptu speaking to vocal variety, to body language, and to how to give and receive feedback. And our recent members in our club, we have a ton of them, will provide one-on-one coaching practice to the enrolled speech crafters. So our visitors or our prospective speech crafters, whether you are looking to boost your public speaking skills in a short period of time, or you are considering becoming a Toastmaster for long time growth, and this is a great learning opportunity and you should not miss out. Today is the first meeting of this training program. We will not be given the speech crafters and invite them to speak. I think this is a very introductory session for our visitors or prospect speech crafters. I will be leading an introduction session to help us get to know each other, because we somehow will be working together over the next 8 weeks and 1 meeting each week. We will be helping the speech crafters get familiar with this club and our learning environment. From next week, we will coaching the speech crafters to give short speeches according to the training materials provided by Toastmasters International, which I will be sending out shortly through the emails. So let's start the introduction. We do have some visitors and they show some interest about either become a member of our club or getting involved into the Speechcraft. Whichever way you are heading to, don't feel pressure. So give us an introduction, and we will move along, and you will decide in the next few sessions or before this session, this whole training ends. But I will pick our visitors, and in the next few minutes, you have something to say. Okay. Yeah. So if you have about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, quickly tell us why you are here and how you have heard us. What is your main interest, and which area you want to improve when it comes to communications or public speaking. So I will first calling upon Kevin Wang. Would you like to come to the front? Quickly tell us about yourself. Welcome.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Kevin. This is my first time doing Toastmasters. I'm a second year at UC Riverside. I study computer science, and how I found this club was I wanted to work on my public speaking and my ability to talk. And my mom told me about a program called Toastmasters that she did when she was in college. So I looked it online. I found out there was one right down the street from me. So I emailed, and now I'm here.
Thank you. Clear and convenient, right? It's just down the block. Welcome again. And we have online participants, which is, let me read your, Danica, right?
Yes,
Okay,
it's Damika.
Or with Danica from somewhere, the Maldives, somewhere. Welcome. Danica,
Yeah,
would you introduce yourself?
I'm actually Sri Lankan, but I live in Maldives. I work here in Maldives. I work as a finance manager for one of the construction companies here. And I joined the program because I want to improve my public speaking and leadership skills. And I came to know about your program through Facebook. So I joined the program to improve my public speaking.
Thank you so much, Madova. Very quick decision, and appreciate your feedback and how you got us through the social media. Hopefully, maybe after this training program, you become our long-term members. Who knows?
Yes, sure.
Next step, right? Okay, good to have you. We still have some maybe repeated and returning visitors who will maybe become our members and maybe just part of this training session. Whatever it is over the next weeks or beyond that, we always welcome to come over to visit us. With that, I would like to invite our return visitor, Amy. Maybe you can give us more introduction about yourself.
Yeah.
Come over here. We have a mic here. Here is your face, right?
Okay.
So,
But when I talk, I need to face this way, right?
Right.
Look
Yeah.
right into the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Annie Satinsky again. I've been in and out of Toastmasters for many years. My last club was Upland, and I was in Riverside for a little while, but I didn't really like Saturday mornings. And then one day Bond came to visit our club, and I said, "What club are you in?" Because when I was online, there were so many clubs that were meeting virtually. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of old school. I'm not wild about virtual. And I tried it with my old club in Upland 3 times. And I was so self-conscious about seeing my face on there. And I'm an in-person, hands-on person. I'm not, virtual is never going to be my first love. Okay. So when Bond told me you guys were meeting in person, I thought I'd come and visit. And so far, everybody's been very friendly. And I was looking for an in-person club. I still think there's more virtual. What do you think, Daryl? Is there more virtual?
Definitely more virtual.
Yeah, and so I was having a hard time. I didn't want to drive millions of miles. And I feel comfortable here. Everybody's been very kind, and I'm a little nervous because the Upland Club, I was pretty active twice a month. And here I'm going with the ums. How embarrassing. I'm rusty, as you can tell. So everything, went into a tailspin because and then I moved from Rancho Cucamonga, I live out towards Yucaipa. And for a couple of years, I wasn't really active at all because I didn't like doing the virtual. So I'm looking for a home right now. So take me in, please. Because I just really need that. And I need to kind of like get used to being back in the club. Because I think for several years, because of the pandemic, everything just fell apart. But I love speaking, as you can tell. I love speaking. And I just really enjoy having the people around me. That's important to me. And it's kind of hard when you're kind of rusty after 4 years. So thank you for letting me talk.
And we are so glad you came. Become a member of this club. Yes. Great. Hybrid, for sure. This club is one of the earliest in the whole district, maybe in the Inland Empire.
Is one of the what?
Running a hybrid.
Oh.
We almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
If I'm correct. I helped by the way, I have Saturday morning to set up their hybrid gears very much beginning, and there was not successful, honestly, but now they invest thousands of dollars to get that set up. So one of the good ones for sure. Saturday morning, but we have been running with a lot of experiences. Just let you know, in person, so we are good at that.
Sure.
Meet you. Thank you. Actually, we have a younger member who have visited us a long time ago and visit us all the time, and he's on the phone call. I heard from his dad, he is considering maybe a sideway kind of speechcrafter. We always welcome a speechcrafter, the young source or young age to join us. And I know maybe he will be off for some time, but we still welcome him. Chiwi, would you like to come over? What is your thought of attending this training program, and what is your plan for the next few weeks? I know you want to have out of the country, but don't feel bad about that. Go ahead.
So I'm thinking to join the Speechcraft because I do want to improve my public speaking, and also feel like if I start younger, it'd basically be easier for me to learn more than if like I'm older. And
Thank you.
What was his name?
Chiwi.
How do you spell that?
Chiwi.
Because I gotta keep track.
Siwei.
Siwi, okay, I got it.
SIWEI.
Thank you.
That
And you are
means-
related to, who's your son? Yeah. Oh, nice to have you. And how old are you? What grade are you in?
6th grade. Well,
Wonderful. Welcome.
Okay, so we have a group of members here in this Zoom. Maybe I want to, if I may, I want to quickly introduce them, and we have online members. I won't be calling them one by one. Maybe I call their name through with a very brief introduction based on my knowledge, and maybe whoever is called upon, just wave your hand and let us know your face, and we will get familiar with each other one more over the next few weeks. I will start with the online session from my screen. Musa, hey, our former division director and former president of this club. Just wave your hand and here. Okay, thank you. Second one, Pierre Oza. Oh, Pierre also a very long-term club in our club, a member in our club, and he will give a speech later. And here in conference room, maybe that's also for the benefit of online members. We have a meeting room here, start from my left-hand side, Daryl, who is currently VP of our wonderful club. Second one, our visitor, Annie. Okay. Third one, our new member, but not new anymore, based on his skills, Jeremiah Moore. And our visitor, Kevin Wang. And right across to me is our pirate, the Daniel. Here, Daniel. Okay, then Grandma Marianne. She is also the sergeant at arms. And then next to her, our current president, Becky. And next one, our club treasurer, also a long-term member, Jin Wang. And last but not the least, our new visitor, the Chiwei. Okay.
Also another visitor from
Tamika, he just introduced. Yeah, he just talked. Okay, so we are done this introductory part. It's a little too long. We try to move on to the next session. To support this Speechcraft session, today we have got two presenters. It is mainly deliver the educational notes or some heads up tips about the being a skilled speaker. First set, which is according to our theme today, Speechcraft. So we got some of the beginnings session theme topic about the speech. First speaker will be talking about the topic selection. So how to conduct a speech when it comes to topic selection. I won't go in depth about these details. And I will let the speaker introduce all this information. This speaker, as I said, is a long-term member in this club and been all the different roles, the official positions in our club as well, and contribute a lot to our club. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our first presenter, Pierre Ozan, and talk about topic selection. Pierre, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Before I begin, let me share the screen with my slides. Does everyone see the slides? Does everyone see the slides? Excellent. Let me put on my pointer. Does everyone see my pointer?
Yes.
Excellent. I have 8 to 10 minutes starting now, Mr. Timer. Good evening, fellow Phonic Fury members and guests. It is my privilege to present to you my personal take on the Selecting Your Topic module of the Better Speaker series. Now, for some people, selecting a speech topic is difficult, and for others, selecting a speech topic is easy. For myself, I don't have problem selecting a general topic. I have many interests I can mine for those. My challenge is in the specifics, because the overall goal of selecting your topic is to find one that is specific enough to fit your speech's time limits for your specific audience for this specific occasion. How can we achieve that goal? First, I'll quickly summarize Toastmasters International's recommendations as given in their standard presentation. I believe these recommendations are worth going over because their slides discuss the sources from which one can take general topics and narrow them down for the constraints to which your speech will be subjected. Constraints like these: audience, occasion, your own abilities, other specificities, the most critical of which is time limit. Then I'd like to give an example applying these recommendations on my most recent speech, a speech from 2 weeks ago when I talked about my daughter's first time sledding. So how does Toastmasters International recommend selecting your topic? I believe that their recommendations are pretty comprehensive to whom and how they can be applied. Now, Toastmasters International identifies 2 categories of sources for selecting general topics: personal experience and reference material. Our overall movement will be going from the general to the specific. The range of personal experience can be very diverse. What are your interests? Do you have any stories or perspectives that you want to share from your career or about your family? Maybe your educational background has provided you with stories and perspectives. Now, maybe you were inspired to speak from something you saw on a website or in a book, a magazine, or a newspaper. Toastmasters categorizes these as reference material sources for general topics. Either way, Toastmasters suggests that when you get an idea for a speech, write it down. I personally keep a computer file with possible future speech topics. Maybe it has a phrase with a topic, it has a sentence or two. Maybe there's a whole brainstorming paragraph. That'll be good enough, because sometimes a good general topic will come to you while you're busy working on another speech. Now, you might not have time for that topic this time, but next time you might. So you don't want to lose that idea. So write it down. Toastmasters International also recommends techniques to narrow your selection from a general topic to a more specific topic, one that fits, again, your speech's time limits for your specific audience for that specific occasion. Audience-related considerations include how many people you'll be speaking to. How old are they? Is your audience familiar with the subject you're discussing? And does your audience share similar education, interests, background, and experiences? Then you need to consider the occasion. Your speech needs to fit into the rest of the event. Does the event where you will be speaking have a theme? When are you scheduled to speak? What is going to happen before your speech? And also, what will happen after your speech? For example, if you have a complicated technical speech, that might be difficult to digest right after lunch when everyone is busy digesting their food, for example. Think that through. Then you need to measure up your own abilities to create a speech on that general topic. Do you have much enthusiasm or interest or knowledge in that topic? Maybe your life experiences, your career, or your education make you an authority in that general topic. Once you've considered your audience, the occasion, your own abilities, Toastmasters recommends you consider how you can be specific. Now, this first point is very important. Is your speech topic specific enough for the allotted time? This time limit is important because the best general topics can fill books, dissertations, encyclopedias in 5 to 7 minutes, or even 30 minutes to an hour. You will not be able to discuss the entirety of a one phrase general topic like, I don't know, British history or East African cuisine or medieval European cavalry tactics, or I don't know, the Buddhist metaphysics of fate in Dream of the Red Chamber, the classic Chinese novel. The most interesting general topics cannot be restrained to even a speech series. And so that's why you need a specific topic and not just a general topic. In my opinion, narrowing your topic selection is the most difficult part of speech planning. When writers from William Faulkner to Oscar Wilde say you have to murder your darlings, this is what they mean. So what will allow you to narrow your general topic is when you identify the specific sub-points that you want your speech to include. For a standard 5 to 7 minute speech, that's an intro point, 3 sub-points, and a conclusion point. Now, do the sub-points you've identified support the topic and add to the speech? Think carefully, because each of those sub-points is going to make up a section of your speech. What do you cut from the body of your speech then? Basically, if something that you think you want to say in your speech does not support that sub-point directly, leave that on the cutting room floor. Now that I've quickly gone over Toastmasters' general recommendations, let's apply it to an example, my most recent speech from 2 weeks ago on my daughter's first time sledding. It was a personal story. So in terms of general topic, I got it from personal experience, specifically from my family. Now, when it comes to narrowing the selection, it's important that you consider what your speech is and what your speech is not. My audience was you, Phonic Fury. You're an audience familiar with me personally. You're an audience familiar with Southern California. Several of you have even been on the Palm Springs aerial tramway. This was not a general non-Toastmasters audience. The occasion was a regular Phonic Fury meeting. It was not, for example, the type of speech that I would be giving at the District 12 meeting, especially during the business portion. Given that it was a personal experience, knowledge base and expertise were not particularly important considerations. I did not need to use my skills as a transportation PhD for that speech. However, I am enthusiastic about telling stories of my outings with my daughter. Her cute little face is just my biggest obsession right now. That's not changing anytime soon. So now I can start making the topic specific. What were the important subpoints that I wanted to tell? After a few iterations, I decided that ultimately I needed 8 subpoints to tell the story properly. No more, no less. I needed an intro to broach my themes, but that was distinct from my setup, where I discussed the memories and other emotional stakes leading up to taking my daughter sledding. Then there were the 3 beats during the rising action of the story. At the climax, my plans went awry, and I decided to return to the warmth and safety of the tramway station. During the falling action, we did other activities to salvage what remained of the day, and in the conclusion, I reinforced my themes. So with those 8 points, what this meant for the time limit is that I needed more than 5 to 7 minutes. With 8 subpoints, I multiplied it by my personal factor of 1.5. 8 times 1.5 is 12 minutes, and that gave me time to use techniques from speech and literature. For example, 12 minutes allowed me to slow down my descriptions and heighten tension. 12 minutes let me describe the space and the action using words and gestures. And the 12 minutes let me make references to Greek mythology. Now, is 1.5 the right factor for you? Well, with enough experience, you'll find your own personal factor for converting subpoints into effective speech length. So what have we learned in this module? Let's summarize. First of all, Toastmasters recognizes 2 sources for general topics, personal experience and reference materials. Within those 2 sources, you have other sub-sources like family or career, or like the internet. Now, to narrow your topic selection from general to specific, Toastmasters has 4 general categories: audience, occasion, personal abilities, and specificity. And then I went over an example breaking down my most recent speech by those recommended categories. But remember, your goal is to select the topic specific enough to fit within your speech's time limits for your specific audience for that specific occasion. So if I have a call to action for you, it's this. Use this presentation to help you select a specific topic for your next speech. To that end, I will be sending out a PDF of this presentation, as well as a checklist of Toastmasters recommendations, also in PDF form. Godspeed and good luck to all of you. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Pierre, for this educational program, educational speech. That really brought us a great point to kickstart our Speechcraft program. Very spot on. I wish I have heard about that when I started to prepare my speech a couple of years ago. Was a mess and hard dealing with the timing, structural, etc., etc. Really spot on. Our next educational presenter, this gentleman, want to say something. So he says Toastmasters International has developed a series of modules to help members become better public speakers. One of these modules is impromptu speaking. And impromptu speech can take the form of a job interview, a telephone conversation, or a chat with customer service people or co-workers. Our presenter today is Daryl Zeller. Daryl has been around for many years. I had a couple of words myself out of his script. He has had 3 separate careers in addition to over 40 years in Toastmasters. All of this experience has given him the opportunity to participate in thousands of impromptu speaking sessions. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please help me welcome Daryl.
Every day, we have many opportunities for impromptu speaking. And everyone can become very adept at being able to respond properly in an impromptu speaking session. Toastmasters International has developed this better speaking series. One of them is in the impromptu speaking module. And they say in this, there is a formula of 5 different activities to do to make you very effective at impromptu speaking. First one, listen intently. Because let's face it, to listen is the basis of communication. Listen intently, and that will allow you to focus on what is being said and can come up with your idea of how you want to respond. The second one is to pause. There's nothing wrong with pausing for a few seconds. And if you pause, that can add some drama to the presentation. It also gives you a chance to organize your thoughts. I'll give you an example. One time I was being selected or interviewed for a jury trial. The defense attorney asked me, Mr. Zeller, why do I not want you on the jury? I paused. And he said, wait a minute, you're a Toastmaster. You're supposed to know that thing immediately. I said, oh, I know, but I don't know if I dare say it. And consequently, I did say it, and I had to apologize to the judge because the whole group busted out laughing because it was something that was probably not what was expected, but it was good. And then when you're listening, you may not understand it. For example, when my hearing aids don't work, or if I forget to wear them, I miss some of the communication. Therefore, it's very appropriate to say, would you repeat that? Or this is what I heard you say. You want to confirm what is being talked about so you can address that specific area. And then tell them. Give them your opinion. Tell them what you want. You have different areas that you can do this with, but go ahead and tell them what you want to say. But stick to the basics. Don't go off on a tangent. And once you have told them what you want to say, shut up. That's it. They don't want you to go out on a tangent because if you go out on a tangent, they're just going to completely tune you out anyway. But there's some strategies that you need to work on to develop this formula, to develop your mindset. And the strategies are some like state your opinion. Now, we all have an opinion. After 60 years of marriage, I now don't need to ask my wife what my opinion is all the time. However, we all have an opinion, and it might be different than the opinion of the other people, but that will set the stage so you can communicate and get to resolve the issues, the differences. You also can turn around and talk about the cause and effect. Well, we did this, therefore this happened. Or if you do this, such and such is going to happen. Take a look at what's going to be happening. You can take that and break it down. No matter what the situation is, there's probably many different aspects of it that you can talk about. Like Pierre just talked about the different things that he wanted to talk about. Break it down. You can talk about those individuals so you can communicate, know you're back on the same track. Excuse me. And always you can go back to the old standby. Here's what happened in the past. Here's what's going on now. And here's what we can expect in the future. And if you don't believe that is done on a daily basis, take a look at what all bills are going through our Congress on any given time. They take a look. Here's an issue that we've had. We're going to fix it by doing this. And therefore, we're going to have this come about. Have you ever heard of unintended consequences? That's many times what we wind up having. Therefore, it is good to be able to talk about it so you come up with the idea of what are the consequences, what is going to happen in the future. And when you're doing this, be confident. Let your body, let everything show that you really mean what you are saying. You're confident in it. Be brief. Don't talk for hours and hours, because let's face it, nobody wants to listen to you go on forever. And be sincere. If you're not sincere, nobody's going to believe you. So if you pay attention to these factors and practice the formula, practice those strategies, then anyone can be very effective at impromptu speaking. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter. There were lots of gold nuggets there in your speech. I hope our visitors, or of course our existing members, have got some of those nuggets to prepare the impromptu speaking going forward. So we are done with this educational session. Again, thank you so much for the presenters for this educational session. This is how, what I said, that the meeting will be slightly different. We will hold up with timers report, and we will come back to timers report after our regular speaker has done her speech, and we will have timers report. Now, let's move on to our regular session, which is very exciting, and I'm sometimes scared, but I still enjoy being part of that, the tape topic session. Today, leading this session is a member who has been, well, an asset of our club in many ways. Of course, he also the treasurer of this club, helping us get the finance done for lots of time, for a long time. And the Toastmasters guests, please help me welcome tape topic master Jin Wan.
Thanks, Mr. Toastmaster. So we will have table topics, basically talking about speechcraft. And speechcraft refers to the art and skills of the public speaking. So the speechcraft will help us develop and improve the skills for the public speaking. As such, we are able to talk in front of the audience, like either as a working industry or politics, and even the students standing in front of the class. All this will need speechcrafts to deliver that effective information. And today we will have probably 7 questions regarding the speechcraft. The first one is, so speechcraft, we have to understand some fundamentals about the skills, such as voice modulation, body language, and the content development. So what part is important that you think for the speechcraft? This first question going to Dan. Would you like to introduce some ideas you think the skills which is important for the speechcraft? Any? You said you're kind of scared with that.
So for the first question on speaking skills and preparation and all of that, you pick the guy who has no discipline whatsoever when it comes to speaking. I do remember when I first started Toastmasters that the idea of going up in front of people and speaking was enough to make you puke. However, I was also told that people generally would rather die than speak. And I had to tell them in my icebreaker that the very first time I spoke was actually at my dad's funeral. So I could relate to that a little bit. However, Toastmasters will teach you a lot about being able to speak in front of people. They will give you ways that you can take away that fear that most people have before they come up and speak. They will tell you that speaking is as easy to do in front of a whole group as it is to do one-on-one, which most of us already do 4 to 6 minute speeches every day. If you think about it, you went away over the weekend and you had the best weekend you've ever had in your life. Come Monday morning at the coffee pot, you're just dying for somebody to say, how did your weekend go? And when they do, you're going to give them a 5 to 7 minute speech on how your weekend went. You're going to do it with no fear. And Toastmasters will show you how to correlate that into speaking to a group and giving that same 5 to 7 minute speech with no fear. Thank you.
Great. When we actually prepare the speech, we can have like storytelling and humorous speech, or sometimes the like persuasive speaking. So if you have to prepare speech for the Toastmaster or other opportunities, which one would you like to deliver that speech? Marianne, is like you like deliver storytelling or persuasive speech or like the humorous speech?
Thank you, Mr. Paper Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and delightful guests. Personally, and communication and doing speeches, I love to do speeches from the heart, speeches about family, speeches about how they've traveled and how they lived. I love to hear about what they do in their lives and what they've accomplished. Because to me, I learn something new each time when someone gets up here and speaks about what they have done with their lives. To me, it's interesting, and I love heartwarming speeches because those are the ones that, I don't know, it just brings tears to my eyes and it makes my day to hear what other people have to say. I don't like speeches that is about work and about, I don't know, other things like outside the home and that. I love speeches about animals. I have speeches like what Jeremiah and Benjamin talks about when they go hiking and go fishing, and Daniel with his pirates and stuff like that, which is humorous. But to me, a humorous, family loving speeches, to me, that's what makes my day and starts my week. And I've learned a lot from other people because of how they live and what their families have done over the years and what they've accomplished. And I just love people all in general. So that's my way of thinking on speeches. Mr. David happens to say.
Usually in the speech, we would like give some example, as that's like from our own life to explore the real life examples. If you think about it, that your speech, your first speech, do you have a like good example to show actually when you use the real life example, it improve your speech? Bang, would you like to give some? I think you have delivered quite a lot really nice speech. Would you like to talk about your real life example, which is nicely to deliver to the audience?
Oh, thank you. I think to deliver a successful speech, preparation really a very key factor. You need to prepare a lot and look into the details. And today I have learned a lot through that two presenters early on. This is listen intently and know what you are talking about, what your objectives are. We have quite a few members. Even Jin Wang was in UCR for quite a long time before he started his new adventure. And Kevin Wang, I'm so glad you said that you are also UCR student. A while ago, December, was introduced by Daryl. I was given a speech in UCR open class about public speaking. that we had a lot of conversation with their teacher, what their students are, what they are looking for. So all that stuff, you need to collect that information before you put that into your speech. Although it's still a regular speech, I was not sure 5 to 7 minutes, was I able to deliver my objectives to get them interested in Toastmaster specifically or public speaking in general. So I had a lot of conversation with their teacher or what those students are and what their background. Some of them already in the debate team in their high school, so they were quite competitive. I was a little nervous actually, but I was teaming up with another member, which I respect very much, Pamela Hilo. She is the president of another club which I belong to. We also teamed together internally before we went there. So preparation is very important. Of course, impromptu, important too, but that comes to tons of preparation. Like Daryl said, he has attended thousands of impromptu speaking. That is very much, in the end of the day, come with preparation. Thank you. Back to you, Jesus.
Thanks. So this is like Speechcraft. And I would like to ask our Speechcrafter, would you like to join the table topics? Like the question would be, what's your plan to enhance your Speechcraft skills? And which special skill you aim to develop during this like 4 from 8 weeks? Kevin or Annie, would you like join to give some ideas about that? Kevin? Okay. The question is like during these 8 weeks, which specific skills you would like to develop to improve your Speechcraft?
Yeah, okay. So in these 8 weeks, I really hope to work on not only my ability to talk in front of others, but being able to also speak like on the spot, kind of being able to go on start a speech off about anything. Basically, impromptu speaking is one of the things that I want to learn. And I hope that some of these skills will help me in the future. And, whatever career I do, a big part of that is being able to work with others and lead teams. So I also want to work on my leadership. And a lot of that is just through learning how to be a good speaker.
Great, thank you. That's a good point, because basically deliver the effective public speaking is one way to be a leader, to show your leadership. Yeah, I like it. Our guest, Mika, would you like to talk about which kind of specific skills you would like to learn during this short time, as such to improve your public speaking? Would you like to join some ideas?
Yeah, actually, I would like to improve my public speaking abilities, because sometimes I get nervous in front of public when I talk about when I deliver speeches, so when I deliver presentations. So I want to improve that skill, and I want to improve my leadership skills as well, because if I need to enhance my career also, that's one of the important thing. So I was looking for Speechcraft programs like this, and I came to know about this program when I was searching social media. So I think this is a good platform to improve my skills, and thanks for giving me opportunity to join this program.
Absolutely, we have a lot of experienced speakers here, And during these 8 weeks, probably we have different sections to introduce the different skills. You're welcome to participate and practice your public speaking. So next question is related to, it's clearly the public speaking tightly related to the practice. During this third time, maybe I think about half a year or 1 year, what's your experience? How the practice improve your public speaking? Jeremiah, would you like to share some experience?
Mr. Table Topics Master. I gotta say, it's helped me tremendously. The first time I came up, I was so nervous. I could barely speak. I think my introduction was about 10 seconds, and my first table topics might have been 29 seconds. And I think one of the things that has helped me most is the repetition. Coming in here weekly and being able to see people, see their faces, see myself online helps, even though I don't like it, as many of us don't. And it's given me a certain amount of confidence to speak, not only in here, but in the outside world too. My original goal was to do better in job interviews. I choked every time. I still do. But I think next time I have a job interview, because of Toastmasters and this repetition, it'll help me deliver the answers that I need to hopefully land the job that I want. Thank you.
Thank you. The Toastmaster actually not only improve your public speaking, but it also actually bring a lot of networks. You have a good relationship with members, different area, especially during the pandemic, the connection even beyond the countries, right? So how important for you the personal network establishment for the Toastmaster? Anna, would you like share some the experience which is involved the social network connection during when you are in the Toastmaster?
Well, I don't go online that much. I mean, I have a tablet, but I've been in Toastmasters for a while. I think I always enjoyed it, just being able to express what's in my heart, what's on my mind. I think on the phone, I sound more confident. And I joined Toastmasters because I went through divorce, and then I had time to go to Toastmasters. But I feel like when I got into social situations, if I went to parties or singles events, I was more confident approaching people and making small talk, like how you doing? And I work with kids a lot because I was a teacher for many years. And I still love Toastmasters after all these years, because I feel like this is something no matter how old you are, you could be 95 and you always get something out of it, and just meeting other people and hearing their stories about what they went through in their lives. So I think it's more than just being a good speaker. It's just getting to know other people and hear about their philosophy on life. So for me, I just think it's so valuable. And I know that before I got into it, I was nervous speaking up at the faculty meetings. My leg used to shake. In high school, my leg used to shake. And nowadays, I love to talk, and I talk too much sometimes. But I think it just gives me so much confidence, like I said, in social situations, interviews, and meeting new people, talking on the phone. And I've gotten compliments. Oh, you speak so well. But they don't know. They don't know all the speeches I've done and some of the ones I've messed up on. They only see kind of like the tip of the iceberg. So I just know after being in it, it's just changed my life, and it's made my life so much better, because speaking is like really one of the critical skills. And if you could speak well, you can communicate your ideas and you could be a leader. So yeah, I just think it's made a big difference in my life.
Great, thank you. Okay. This table topics, I think we heard a lot of how to see skills or experience from our members. And I would like to end this part. Can we have time recorder from Daryl?
Sure, in the impromptu communication session, we did have quite a few people participate. Dan spoke for 1 minute and 45 seconds. Marianne spoke for 1 minute and 37 seconds. Bond spoke for 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Kevin, you were a little bit short at 53 seconds. Demika, you were at 49 seconds. Jeremiah, 51 seconds. And Anna at 1 minute and 58 seconds. Now, if you spoke for less than 1 minute at a contest, that would be automatic disqualification. But just put it this way, this is the first time for many of you. Let's go with everybody qualifies. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Daryl. Please, like, you have the word, and then we will give Daryl. Now I return my contact to our Toastmaster, Mr. Bob.
Thank you so much, Jim. Wow. Great questions. Very much relevant. I can see the work you have done, prepare those questions. Truly brainstorming, not only for Speechcrafters, for our existing members. There's quite a lot of tips about how to craft the speaking skills, go to the higher level. So now I would like to move on to our regular session. We always have our regular speakers, either they want to present themselves or they want to go ahead with the so-called pathways program speeches, which will help them gain credits, and also help the clubs to gain the DCP, Distinguished Club Program credits, which is either recognition or honor, whatever we call it. So we still encourage our existing members to come up to speak. This week, we will have one regular speaker. Here is her introduction. I think our next speaker, she doesn't need that much introduction. Maybe she needs thousands of introduction, given her history in Toastmaster. And she's given an icebreaker speech. Wow, interesting. To prepare her next task. She just completed her task engaging humor. Congratulations, you have got another milestone. And her speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Daryl. So the title is The Middle Years. The Middle Years. Becky Palmer. Becky Palmer, The Middle Years.
Thank you, Vaughn. Fellow Toastmasters and delightful guests. I've given many speeches in my life. Actually, in the 45 years I've been a member of Toastmasters, but I've never talked about the middle years. I've talked about being born in Corona, living with 3 brothers, the fun we used to have out in the orange groves and the walnut field and whatever. But I never talked about the pivotal middle years, the years that are important for formatting the formative years, put it that way. I'm talking about from 11 to 17. In other words, the last year or two of grade school, middle school, and the first year or two of high school. Part of the reason why I've never given this speech is that it was traumatic. Being in junior high is traumatic as it is, as I'm sure you're going to find out. No kidding. But it was especially for me because of a tragedy in our family. My mother ran into a palm tree on her way to work one night. Something happened with the steering on the new convertible, and she wound up breaking both her legs, fracturing her back. You name it, it was broken. So she was bedridden for a couple of years, at least the first 2 years. And being the only girl, I was the caretaker. So I learned about bedpans. I learned about giving shots. I learned about running the household because she was the main cook and bottle washer. And at the tender age of 11, I was thrown into all that. So I think part of the reasons I've never talked about it is I've forgotten a lot of it. You tend to block out that which was painful. But it was quite interesting, those formative years. I had to learn to communicate, how to talk to my brothers without getting them mad, without having them be aggressive, because you say the wrong thing and boy, they fly off the handle. So I had to learn that. I learned about boys because in junior high, a whole new world opened up and whoa, there's boys out there. Woohoo. I went to Gage School here in Riverside. We moved from Corona after my mom's accident to get in a bigger house. And I went to Gage. I walked to school. I met many friends. And I learned about fashion, and hair, and I didn't care a bit about either of those. I was a tomboy. I loved to climb trees. I loved to play 3 flies up. I loved to play in the middle of the street with all the boys around. When we lived in Corona, I had a fun time. But now it's opened up more. I have to learn about all of these items. And plus, hormones are raging. That's when it starts, is in junior high. I met some new friends, which was wonderful because they came from a different area. And I'm still friends with 2 of them today. So that's like over 50 years that we've been friends, about 55 years. We used to walk to school. And when we went to Poly High, it was even further than Gage. So I used to always laugh as I headed out to school, reminding me of the stories that my parents would tell about walking 5 miles uphill in the snow, in the blistering snow, almost barefoot. And I used to joke about that. What I used to do was walk home with one of my friends. She lived halfway between high school and my house. So I would just rest. Okay, let me just rest here a minute before I head on out up the hill, 3 miles barefoot. And her mom would take pity on me and drive me home. So that was a little bit of manipulation, but I learned that too. And that was fun. So the middle years weren't years I would like to repeat, but I did learn to cook. I learned to clean. I was able to get some fun time in, which was nice, with the neighborhood kids. I could go over and play at their house. I had a friend, Linda, and we were good friends. So good that she threw me in the rose bushes. We had a fight and she pushed me in the rose bushes and I had scratches all over me. And so she took me into the bathroom, got the medicine kit out and prepared to patch me up. Problem is she put, what was that, mercurochrome on my, yeah, oh, it was painful. It was very painful. So I wouldn't want to relive them again, but I think it built character and made me a better person these middle years. So next time I give an icebreaker, I'll talk about the high school years and what happened there. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Becky. Interesting stories and always fun to hear about your early ages. Yeah, I never heard about you talk such an early age of yours. Thank you for sharing. So with this regular speaker done, we will have a overall timers report for the speakers. Area.
Thank you very much. Pierre, on his 8 to 10 minute presentation, 10 minutes and 3 seconds. Myself, I'm a 5 to 7 minute, 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Becky on her 5 to 7 minute icebreaker, 7:01. So congratulations, everybody qualifies.
With that said, please vote for the speakers, either through online voting or send your votes to the in-room to Derek. Okay, so move along. We are having another regular session of our meeting, which is general evaluation. That also means a lot for our speech crafters, because one of the speech crafts is to how to receive and give and receive feedback. This is a very good way to improve our public speaking and the communication skills. Leading this session is our younger member. Again, I don't want to say he's younger anymore in Toastmasters. Of course, leading this session is Jeremiah Moore. Please help me. Welcome, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Now is the time we evaluate our speakers to give them helpful feedback in order to shapen and hone their speaking skills. Our first evaluator is a longtime Toastmaster, taking on many roles. He always has interesting speeches and always is smiling. Very insightful when evaluating. Let's welcome Musa. He'll be evaluating Pierre's speech tonight.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, guests, and Pierre. Pierre, an excellent speech, well prepared and well delivered. I like the speech very much because you have a lot of good resource material from Toastmaster, like specific personal experience, or from recommendation of yourself. In general, it's a well-composed speech, and you have given more examples as a warning and advice, write it down quickly, and how to narrow it down. And then at the end, you give good example of your daughter's sledding experience and how you put it together. Well done. I like the speech very much because your vocal variety was perfect. You have a good vocal, wonderful. Even though we are using Zoom screens, even your eye contact to the camera was also wonderful. Your gesture, even though it's a left hand mostly, I don't know why, because you are lefty or right hand, I don't know, but it looks like a left eye, but you did a good job. I will do it this way in both my hands. You know, if you want to do it. Even though that screen is too small, go a little bit back and do it a little bit more. And it can be improved. The clarity of the subject is perfect for not only the seasoned Toastmaster, even for our guests. Exactly they know what to do in order to create a specific topic. So it's the interest, like the engagement of the audience is well, I want to know what I can do in order to improve myself. Well done. And above all, your comfort level, PhD level, good instructor. Well done. If I have to give some suggestion in the speech level, it looks like a little fast for me. The pace and the speed was a little fast. I know you took 10 minutes, and sometimes 10 minutes is short for some good topic like this, but you could cut some of your material in order to fit it up. I felt like you're speeding a little bit. And some other point also I would like to suggest is some of the slides have more information in them. So if you ask me now, do you remember the slide number 4? Because it's too much information, I could not remember it because it's too much. So for a slide, a good technique might be 4 bullets or 5, maximum of 6 bullets, and that would be perfect. And one-liner would be also good. In the conclusion, you told us what you told us, like the specification, Toastmaster recommendation, and personal experience. And at the same time, you call for an action. You said, use this presentation as your guide to select a topic. Above all, I love the speech. The way you delivered is very good. It looks like instruction in a classroom, university level, PhD level, I'm telling you, and well done, well done. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Musa. Our next evaluator was a stand-in, and she's always ready to give good feedback, and we'll be evaluating. Let's see. Oh, she'll be evaluating Daryl this evening. Sorry, my notes got a little messed up. Please welcome Marianne.
I'm be at home tonight, you know. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, delightful guests, and of course, Daryl. Of course, knowing him for all these years, I know he speaks very clearly. He is very confident when he gets up here and speaks because he's done a lot of speeches over the last, 40-some years. He gave some good ideas on the subject on how to do impromptu speech. He had a lot of chances on doing impromptu speeches because being an auditor in the Air Force, I think he had to really be ready to answer questions quickly for being an auditor. So that kind of helped build his confidence up. He's been in Toastmasters a long time, and he's had a lot of knowledge on the subject on how one can speak. He has great body language. He always has good hand gestures. He has humor, that I know, because he likes to pick on me once in a while in his speeches. He's very confident. And I like how you presented this speech tonight, because I heard you practice it a couple of times when we got here this evening. And I hope that we all learned something from doing your impromptu speech, and that we will all be able to, when we have to get up here and do an impromptu speech, that we're ready to do it. And you gave us a few subjects on that I thought, all in all, being I didn't get to listen too well. You did a good job this evening, and thank you for that, giving us that information, Mr. General Evaluator.
Great. Thank you, Marianne. That concludes the part of our Speechcraft speeches and evaluation, and we had our regular speech. A longtime veteran of Toastmasters, he's always has an interesting take and insight on subjects and brings up points that I may have not thought of. Let's welcome Dan. He'll be evaluating Becky this week.
With all these introductions tonight, I'm starting to think better of myself. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Becky, that was an excellent icebreaker speech. We learned a lot more about you than we knew before. And it was very interesting to hear you talk about your middle years. I have a feeling a lot of us have cast aside those middle years and don't really want to talk about them. I know I've totally blanked out on everything before the age of 13. I couldn't tell you a thing about what happened unless I had a picture. And you put it all back into living color, so to say. The friends, the getting pushed into the bush, all those wonderful things that go along with those awkward middle years. the body changing, the outlook changing, the hormones going absolutely insane. You name it. She described it perfectly. I liked how you, yes, I did like it. I was a little thrown off at one point because I think the only item that I could say about the speech that you could improve on was, I have never, in the 10 years I've been here, seen you use notes during a speech. And it was rather awkward to see the side of your head. We've never done that before. Other than that, the speech was wonderful. It brought back a lot of memories. Still didn't bring back any before the age of 14, but it brought back a lot from my junior high and high school years, and went through a lot of those same things going on. And yeah, junior high is going to be the most awkward time of your life. You've been warned. If you want to skip it now. Oh, that's right. You're going to have to go. I really enjoyed the speech, and I'm looking forward to the next one when you start talking about the later years of high school. Hopefully they were better than mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Now it's a part of the meeting where I evaluate the meeting in total. We had a great meeting tonight. We started out on time with Mary Ann leading us in the pledge. And our president, Becky, introduced our Toastmaster, Jean, for the evening. I'm sorry, Bon, for the evening. And Bon did a great job as Toastmaster, keeping the meeting moving and having great insight on Speechcraft and how the meeting will work. He had us do introductions to help our guests and our current members help learn each other's names and faces. Our functionaries for the night were Daryl as timer, Mary Ann as grammarian, Annie, one of our guests, as counter, and Daryl stepping in to do the joke of the evening. And this joke about the test where the one person had the same answer as the other one, but it was he was actually copying his neighbor. For tonight, we had Gene as a table topic master. He gave great questions. He asked Dan the important skills for Speechcraft. He spoke of speaking in public and how to overcome the fear of speaking in public. He asked Mary Ann what type of speech she likes to do best, and she gave her answer as a heartwarming speech. And I think if we've seen Mary Ann give her speeches, they are heartwarming. He asked Bond, how is it to give real life examples for your speech? And Bond spoke of collecting information to deliver the speech. Yes. What is your plan to develop your speech? To our new guest, Kevin. And he spoke of public and impromptu speaking, as well as other guests spoke of leadership and public speaking. Now, for our speeches, we had Pierre give a speech, one of our Speechcraft speeches on topic selection. He gave an informative slideshow about how to choose his topics. His speech highlighted his speech goals, recommendations, inspiration, and selection. Daryl gave a Speechcraft speech about impromptu speaking. He spoke of opportunities for impromptu speakings and the 5 skills: listening, pausing, confirm, give opinion, then shut up. Tonight's regular speech was Becky, and she gave an icebreaker about the middle years, spoke of the trauma of junior high that we can all relate to, and how she carried on in life and how to navigate bills, boys, siblings, and how it built character. As far as our evaluators for the evening, we had Musa, and he was evaluating Pierre. I really liked how he pointed out how Pierre has material laid out, gave examples, and pointed out the good parts of his speech. He had good suggestions on hand gestures, vocal variety. Musa pointed out Pierre's comfort level, which I would really agree with. I always think he is very comfortable in front of the camera. Musa did a good job at helping Pierre with his pace and maybe expanding on some of the slides. And Marianne, she spoke of Daryl's clarity and how his impromptu speaking with positive feedback. I know it's hard to review or evaluate Daryl, but maybe some suggestions on how he could improve. I didn't hear any suggestions for that point, but like I said, I know that could be difficult for Daryl. And Dan, he pointed out how the middle years can be difficult and how to improve and how to
I see kind of contagious.
and how to improve, which was jarring to see Becky use notes today. With that, I would like to call for the timers report.
I started daydreaming there. What do you know? And I will say that Musa time was 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Marianne was 1 minute and 40. Dan was 2 minutes and 10. And Jeremiah, I got you at 4 minutes and 38. That's because of 42 when I woke up.
Okay. So please vote for who you think did the best job as evaluator for the evening. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Other roles are counter grammarian.
Oh, okay.
Right, coming right up.
And
I'd like to call for the counter report.
Sure.
I'm not sure where to stand. I'm sorry. To be straight up, right here, because you got the podium, lectern here, and I'm over here. Like I said, I am not good with virtual. I'm like, where do I go? Who do I look at?
welcome to Zoom era.
Just pretend you're talking to me. If you just look right at me, you're being perfect.
You know,
That
I
is
could
why-
never make it in the TV world.
That's
'Cause I
why
would be
he's
like,
always there. Give you a target.
okay, so
like
I,
that 10
huh?
I'm like the 10-pin in bowling. Just keep looking right at me.
Okay. All right. I was assigned to be the odd counter and I'm rusty, but I really, that's why I sat in the front so I could really tune in to everybody speaking. I didn't hear a lot of ahs and I'm just going right down the line. I did not hear Bond say any ahs, none from Jean, none from Pierre, none from Becky. Kevin Wang, no. Damika, I didn't hear any. Marianne, no ahs, no for Jeremiah, no for Dan, no for Kevin, I already said him. Our young person here, the sixth grader, I did hear a few, but I want to congratulate you for even coming up here, because I remember where I was in sixth grade and I would never have the guts to come up and speak in front of the group. So I think you're on your way. And by the time you get to be college level, like Mr. Kevin, you'll be really a smooth talker. So thank you, and don't worry about the ahs. Don't let that trip you up. But just to have the courage to come up here at such a young age. Was it your dad that encouraged you to come, or did you come of your own free will? Yeah, that's wonderful, because I did not start Toastmasters until I got divorced and I was 34. And, I wish I would have done it in high school. Then I would have done better in my job interviews, and in college, I would have been more confident. So that's wonderful that you're starting young, because it's going to make such a big difference in your life. So thank you for coming up and doing that. Daryl, no ahs, because he is the veteran speaker. And so, I really was listening. So I just want you to know that, but I'm rusty on being the all counter. But I enjoyed all the speakers. It was a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I have the grammarian report?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. All right. Bon, I like lots of gold nuggets in your speech. That was cute. And then I like we are working together and you used the word cleaning. Kevin, I like be able to speak on the spot and to be a good speaker. That's great. Annie, everything went into a tailspin. And also tip of the iceberg. I like that. I don't know if you used the word of the evening though. I didn't hear it. Daryl, stick to the basics and shut up when you speech. I didn't add that in my evaluation. And Jeremiah, I like repetition, is it? Repetition. You used a couple times. I like that. And then, did you use the word? I did not. No, I didn't think I did. And Pierre, he's enthusiastic and speaking about his daughter. And yes, I agree with you there because she's a sweetheart. And I believe he used the word. And Dan, you said to make me puke when you were doing table topics. And he did not use the word either. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Now with that, I turn back to Toastmaster. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator, for leading this session. So quickly move along. We're running a little bit behind our regular time. This is how we go with Speechcraft. We have winners. Wow, even it's a Speechcraft session, we still have winners. Our best evaluator, I will go with from there, goes to Dan. Over. We do have ribbons here. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Our best table topics goes to none other than our guest. Annie, come over. You come up too often. Always so good.
That's why I keep coming back.
No, come back.
It's free book.
See, you'll see you in the screen.
Thank you so much. I have to get used to this. I'm still.
Oh, you will. So come more often. Last but not the least, the most important part, the best speaker goes to our Madam President. Talking about her middle years. Yeah, I will bring it over to you. So we have winner session. And here goes with the agenda. We will have next week's assignment. That's a little bit different from what we did before because we will have a combination, a little bit complicated than what we did before. And I want to say for this Speechcraft event, I got a lot of help. Our VP, Daryl, been orchestrating this whole event actually from behind the scene. This is my first time. I'm a little still nervous, a little beyond my knowledge. I really appreciate all these efforts Daryl has been put in. So now please help me welcome Daryl to give a little ideas how we will be going next week for this Speechcraft.
Alrighty, next week, we want to have the Speechcrafters participate and start giving the speeches. The first speech for a Speechcrafter is 2 to 3 minutes, and it is an icebreaker. You get to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know during the introductions tonight, you got a little bit of the opportunity to do something about yourself, but this is a little bit extended. Go for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, Becky went 5 to 7 minutes this evening on an icebreaker. You can do it on yourself, what you've done in your life, whatever you want to do. And since we actually do have 6 people participating in the Speechcraft, I would like to have our Speechcrafters do the icebreaker next week. Would be, let's see, Kevin, will you be able to do one?
Yeah.
Annie?
Am I really in? Because I have a lot of years of speaking.
Okay,
I feel
then,
embarrassed to get into Speechcraft.
okay, then Kevin and Tamika, can you do an icebreaker next week?
Yes, sure.
Good. And Sui, can you do one?
It's only the minimum is 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes for the
You
icebreaker.
can do that.
Yeah. And we have two more speech crafters who are not with us tonight. That's Bob and Karen. That they will be with us next week. They will do the icebreaker the following week. So we're gonna go ahead and icebreakers on the week 2 and week 3. And then week 4, we're gonna go into organize the speech on how to organize your presentation. And you get to do any topic you want, and it is organizing. Just how do you organize? And for the rest of the group, I'll give you the order here. The pledge is going to be by me. The Toastmaster of the day will be Pierre. I guess I'm timer again. Yeah. Becky is the counter. Dan is the grammarian. And Jester, I didn't even mark that down, but we'll just leave Benjamin as a gesture. And then the Musa is going to give a presentation on organizing your speech. Then and we're going to have our 3 icebreakers next week. And then table topics will be led by Jeremiah. The speeches, Oscar. And I actually have room for one more person from the club if they want to give a speech. So if you want to give a speech, let me know.
Does it have to be on a specific subject?
It's any subject you want to give on. So, yeah, it is not an educational speech.
Okay,
It's not an educational. I'm
unless I want to.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and.
Okay, Dan is going to do one also. So let's see.
Getting
Okay,
the way people won't write down my grammarian.
and then want to bet? And then the Marianne is general evaluator. Bond, Jack, and Jean are going to be evaluators. And I'm going to have to get a couple more evaluators down. And then we're going to have, let's see. Oh, I guess that would be it as far as the assignments for next week. And for each of the speech crafters, there is a session of picking someone who you want to work with to be your mentor to work with you. Question and answer. So I'm going to ask you, do you have somebody that you really want to work with? And I'm going to start with Kevin. Do you have somebody that you'd like to work with?
I don't have any specific.
Okay, we'll just have somebody work with you, okay? And then, Sui, you want to work with your dad or you want to work with somebody else?
I think it's hard to improve. Okay, let me know later.
Okay. Annie?
Well, like I said, I have a lot of experience,
Okay.
so I'm embarrassed. to
Oh,
actually
okay.
have a mentor.
Okay, Namika, do you have somebody you'd like to work with?
Not a specific person, but if you can suggest someone, then I like to work with you.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna ask if Pierre, if you work with Namika and kind of give him a little bit of a hint of what to do, etc. With that, and the two
I
of
can do
you,
that.
I will give you his email address because I do have it. So
Thank you.
where you can connect back and forth. And then Bob and Taryn will go ahead and get them scheduled with next week. And that's all that I have for the Speechcraft, for the assignments for next week.